in terms of that mental preparation, what should I do before I play the match? If I've got, maybe even just a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, should I visualize hitting a 140-mile-an-hour serve down the tee? Come on. Should I maybe picture hitting my forehand with, some nice shape, some nice topspin on the ball? Should I think about what I'm going to say to my opponent maybe at the net when I whip his ass, love and love, or her ass? Or maybe just listen to some music and not even think about anything else?
Well, that's such a plethora of answers. If you were to look at the professional tennis players, I guarantee that a few of them have gone through all of those. Specifically, the "what are you going to say" bit. I think Holger Rune and Stan Wawrinka have definitely had a little think about that. Sorry, I had to bring it up. Anyway, obviously that's the one that you wouldn't do. You're not going to think about what to say again, unless you're a really angry person. If you're a really angry person and you want to say something funny, then say it because it'll be funny. But the best things you can do, I would argue, you're saying to me, "Oh, imagine hitting a 140-mile-an-hour serve down the tee." Well, if you're a player who has been able to hit a very good serve down the tee before, then sure, visualize it. Because what's important is that if you're putting yourself in a scenario where you're visualizing doing these things, you're mentally preparing yourself and physically preparing yourself as a result to give yourself the chance to be able to. If I'm going to go with the most sensible answer there and be all nice and boring, the old vanilla butter answer on toast answer. Yes, the vanilla answer. Then obviously I'm going to say, imagine hitting your forehand with some nice spin and all that sort of stuff. But maybe you don't hit the ball with much spin. Maybe that's not how you play tennis. So for you, that might be hitting a nice flat shot down the line, or keeping nice consistent cross courts, or slicing a nice little drop shot and coming in onto the net. Like your style of tennis is what you want to imagine you playing, and the effect, so that you can get prepared to be nice and intense doing it.
Should I focus on how many different kind of things should I be thinking about? Maybe just focus on a couple of things, maybe a couple of strengths of mine.
So if I'm going into a tennis match, I'm going to go, what's my opponent's weakness? If they're a long-standing friend and you know what their weaknesses are, then you go, great. So I'm thinking to myself, Ben, what's Ben's weakness? So he hits a one-handed backhand that's sometimes a bit dodgy and mistimed. So I'm probably going to imagine hitting my shots there. I'm going to imagine coming for an inside-out forehand and hitting it to that cross court. I'm going to imagine taking my backhand on and playing some nice backhand loopy rallies with him, because I reckon I can outlast him on my one-handed backhand than he can with me. So there's those sorts of conversations you'll have in your own head, and you'll think, okay, so let's have a focus on one thing, and then visualize that one thing that you think you can do well. It might be that they're not a very good returner, so you're thinking about, I'm going to put a little bit of topspin, I kick it into them when I hit my serve, or slice it into them, or something like that. It's just visualize one thing, give yourself a focus. If it doesn't work, then you can change it midway through the match. But to start with, you want to be calm and collected. Going on angry and pumped, ready for 140-mile-an-hour serves, it can work for some people, but I guarantee it's not most.
It's funny, the one about thinking about what you're going to say to your opponent, afterwards. I've actually, during a match, when I'm ahead, I have sometimes thought too far ahead, and I'm like, I wonder what the conversation's going to be like at the net, or maybe one of these pro players. Yeah, and then funny enough, then I start losing 3 games in a row. I'm like, okay, well, what do I say if I lose? and then it's gone. I think just keep it simple. Think about one thing. If you don't know your opponent, maybe, then you just focus on what your strength is, or a pattern of play, if you want to be more advanced, that works fairly well for you. And then in the match, you might see something else in that. You might see something in their game, and then you can, if you've got time at a changeover or something, you might just think for 30 seconds, maybe try this strategy. But I think, especially with tennis, I think that kind of visualization helps a lot. I certainly, even when I was learning tennis, just as a point from learning tennis, watching how someone hits the ball, even if it's not me, like helped me to hit the ball better. So just that act of thinking about it, picturing it, is enough to kind of, give you a little bit of a boost there. So don't neglect it completely. Maybe if you've got like a spare few minutes, try it out. Try one of those techniques. All right. Hey there, tennis friends. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that episode, then you might want to click here for this one. See you there.